I think food insecurity in the notion that people don't have access to food, to nutritious food, affordable food, is something that definitely exists within this community, or within, I guess, the Sydney community, mostly attributed to the fact that it's quite expensive to live here. Housing prices just keep increasing. People keep just getting pushed out from within the Newtown neighbourhood or inner west, and eventually can't afford it. And even if they are choosing to live here because they have family or friends or work, the cost of housing and living is so high that not enough money is being able to be spent on food. And so I think for that reason it's really clear, because here at Lentil, as anything in the heart of Newtown, we serve 500 to 600 meals a day. And it's also I should make mention that the people who come here for different reasons. Some like the ideas, some think it's interesting, some will come for an experience, to give back, but often people come because they can't afford meals elsewhere. And this is giving them an ability to have affordable food in the inner west. And so the fact that we're so busy shows that food insecurity obviously does exist, because even if people do try and look for cheaper options, it's usually not so healthy. So it's here we have food cooked same day by volunteers, by people. It's made to be more like home food, and it gives people a chance to have food that they can afford. Lentil, as anything, doesn't receive any support from the government. We're a non-for-profit community organisation. We're for the community, by the community. So we actually run like a normal restaurant here, in the sense that we don't have a bill or a check at the end of your meal, which you would get elsewhere, and that check would go into running costs. It'd pay for rent, for food, usual operational costs. We pay rent. We pay more than $11,000 a month in rent. We pay for food. We spend thousands of dollars on food a week. We have normal operational costs, and we pay for it by the box. So we're not a charity. We don't get any outside funding from an organisation, and we're not government funded. So the idea that the government, food insecurity is a job for the government, in a sense it is, but it's the hard work of organisations like us that really keep it going. Somebody did a survey on the social return on investment on lentils, and we contributed $250 million that the government has otherwise saved. I think the students of Notre can help just as much as any other person can help. And that's through a variety of ways. You can volunteer. You can volunteer your time however you can and however you would like to. You could volunteer obviously on the floor, waiting tables and delivering food and taking orders, or in the kitchen just chopping some vegetables. Or you could participate in an internship here, and where it's, I guess, both ways, and you can get experience as much as we also get the benefit of somebody else doing some great things for us. You could also volunteer in assisting any particular workshop or class, but also I think definite way that students can contribute is just by coming and eating here and donating. That's a big thing, even though there's lines on the streets and people sometimes are just deterred because there's a line at the front. It usually doesn't last very long. And just coming here today and having some food and donating in the box has a huge impact, because every bit of money you put into the box means that you're able to pay for your meal and maybe somebody else's meal who can't afford it. And it might not be that they're homeless, they might just be going through a really tough time. And so hopefully students of Notre or anybody else has the ability to think outside the box and actually see that maybe someone's doing quite difficult, going through an issue that's quite difficult, and you can support them by donating a little bit more.
I think in the induction you mentioned some people, Newtown's a very creative society, creative community, and sometimes their income isn't very steady.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's another thing. If you work in creative industry, or even if you just work on contract, it might not be creative industry. It could just be in trade, where your money goes up and down. You have work, you don't have work. You have work. It's dependent on your employer or whether someone hires you. And if your money just keep going up and down, but your rent's consistent and all those other life costs are consistent, your money on food can usually goes by the wayside. And here it's really helpful because you get to come and eat, and then when you've got the money, you can pay for it elsewhere. Definitely.
Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you. Thanks.